Hey there, I'm Amy, and last week we talked about how to start flipping furniture with no money. But to do that, you needed to have a truck and probably a strong friend who could help you move furniture. And I told you guys that I was going to do a video this week for the rest of us. If you don't have a truck and you don't have a big, strong friend to help you move furniture, how can you start flipping furniture? Well, we're going to talk about that today. But real quick before we get started, I wanted to ask you to subscribe to this channel if you're interested in videos about furniture flipping, furniture painting, or mural painting. And I also want to let you know that I have a free resource for you. It's a furniture flip pricing worksheet. Look down below for a link to get a copy of that for free, and it will help you figure out how much you should charge for things or how much you should pay for them in order to be able to make the profit that you're looking for when you flip them. So check that out in the description box below. Okay, so how can you start flipping furniture if you have a small car and small muscles and not a lot of time to be chasing freebies on Craigslist all day long? What can you do? Well, there is a way that you can flip furniture. You just have to start a little smaller and use smaller pieces. But let's talk about some of the details of how to do that. Well, I'm somebody who has an SUV, and I usually have a friend with big muscles who can help me, aka my husband, but he recently had a little bit of a back injury, and so I have been flipping kind of smaller pieces lately to give him a break from helping me move furniture. So I'll show you a couple of smaller pieces that I've flipped recently and show you that you can do it. Keep in mind that when you sell a smaller piece of furniture, you can't sell it for hundreds of dollars like you can a big dresser or some kind of whole bedroom set or something. You can't sell it for those big amounts, but you can sell it for a good profit compared to what you bought it for. So those are the kinds of pieces you're going to want to look for. You can do this on a smaller scale. You'll be taking smaller bites, and so you'll go a little bit slower, but you can definitely make a good profit on pieces that are small pieces that you flip too. So the secret to making a profit flipping small pieces is to choose them judiciously. Choose pieces that have the best likelihood of making a good profit for you. And the way to do that is by considering several different things when you're looking at what pieces you should buy. What you want to do when you're choosing a small piece of furniture, something that can fit in a smaller car instead of a big truck, is you want to consider if it has one of the following things. Is it in a popular finish, or can you make it into a popular finish? Is it a popular style of furniture? Is it a popular item or piece of furniture? Or is it a popular material? Or better yet, does it have multiple of those things going for it so that it will be easier for you to sell? Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about in each of these categories. When I say is it in a popular material, I'm talking about right now something like wicker and rattan is enjoying a heyday. It's very popular with kind of boho styles of furniture. And so if you find a pretty piece that's in a wicker or rattan kind of finish, then you have a better chance of selling it or having people interested in it more quickly, because those things are a little hard to find and they are very trendy right now. If you're looking for something that's a popular item, I find that looking for matching nightstands or bedside tables, if you have a pair of two that match, even though they're both small, you have a better chance of selling it. Another small-ish item that I think does well, and you can sell it for a decent price for how much you can get them for, is like a sofa table or a console or entryway table. Those are not large and might possibly fit in your car or your trunk, but they sell for a decent amount of money compared to little bitty nightstands and end tables and even coffee tables. So that's a good thing to look for. Another thing I would suggest is if you find two end tables that are matching, I would show them when you take a photograph of them. I would not only show them as end tables. If you have a couch that looks okay that you can put in the picture, I would also put them together and photograph them in front of the sofa as a coffee table. And that way you're showing the customer that even if they're in kind of a small space, these two tables have a lot of versatility, because you can use them together as a coffee table, or you can use them as two end tables, or you can kind of mix them as you need them for different spaces. A popular style right now in a lot of places is mid-century modern, and I know where I live in Dallas, they get snatched up very quickly, and so it's hard to flip one. It's hard to get a really cheap price on one and then flip it, because they get purchased quickly. You usually can't wait for wicker or mid-century pieces to go on sale very deeply. They'll get bought at whatever price somebody's asking for them usually. But if you can find a mid-century modern piece, those are really popular. And so a lot of those are a little smaller because at that time in the 50s and 60s, furniture was not gigantic and oversized. And so a lot of those pieces are reasonably sized pieces and they're really popular right now. Now, as far as a popular finish, this may vary in your area and it also depends on what style of furniture you're doing, but there are some finishes that are easy to do as far as you repainting or finishing something and that are pretty classic and easy to sell. One of them is an all white, kind of slightly distressed or farmhouse vibe for a more traditional piece. And then another finish that's very popular for something a little more modern would be a black finish, and often with gold hardware or gold legs or some kind of gold accents on the black, because that has that modern and that mid-century kind of feel. So those are popular. Another combination that does well if you're repainting something is just a white body of the furniture and then have the tops done either in gray or in a stain. And that's a popular finish that kind of goes with a lot of people's house and a lot of their decor, and so that's a popular one too. So what's helpful is for you to try and take a little time to kind of see what's selling in your area. Every area has its own specifics. These are generalities, and I'm in the South, in the southern United States, and these are things, for example, I live right up the road a couple hours from Chip and Joanna Gaines, and so farmhouse style still sells quite well here in Texas, but there are some places where it's not that popular anymore. There are some places where you can still easily nab a cool piece of mid-century modern furniture, spruce it up and make it look great. And then there are some places where no one's even interested in that stuff yet. And so it kind of depends on what's going on in your area. But it's always a good idea if you can stage it in a way that shows people how great it can look. And so it may be helpful to you to kind of specialize in one style or another that sort of goes with the furniture or the staging side items that you already naturally have. That way you'll be able to take a picture where it looks great and shows people how good it can look in their house. And of course that always helps it sell better and for a higher price. Now, one thing I think is important to mention, it will be helpful for you to know, I've done videos about where to sell your things, and the general winner overall that I name is Facebook Marketplace. But when we're talking about smaller items, there is something that I didn't know until I started trying to sell a mirror, a wall mirror, and that is that Facebook Marketplace, they're not only trying to compete with Craigslist, but now they're kind of trying to compete with eBay. And so if you put a smaller item for sale, typically a home decor item as opposed to a furniture item, they will suggest that you offer shipping on that item. And then if you do offer shipping on that item, they will show it to the whole country instead of just your neighborhood. Now you got to be careful with this. If you're thinking of flipping furniture, you may not want to pack it and ship that item. I know for me, I was selling this big, heavy metal wall mirror. So not only is it heavy and bulky and hard to ship and pack, but it's a mirror, so it's very breakable. And so the last thing I want to do really is to pack that up to ship to someone. And I used to own a furniture store, so I have an idea of how much it's going to cost to actually ship something like that. And for what I'm selling my mirror for, I'm pretty sure that a customer in some other part of the country, when they find out what the shipping cost is going to be, that it's going to cost basically as much as the item itself. They're not going to want to pay double for this thing to have it shipped to them. So keep that in mind if you want to sell items. I mean, there are things that can be flipped that you can get at thrift stores, like wall shelves, wall mirrors, lamps, lots of cute things that have value and can look good and can resell. If you want to sell something like that and flip it locally, in that case, I would suggest that you list it on Craigslist instead of Facebook Marketplace, because when you list something like that on Facebook Marketplace, even if you opt local pickup only because you don't want to ship it, they're still putting you in the pool of showing any customer who is searching for, say, a mirror or a lamp or a wall shelf in your area. They're going to show them every mirror in the whole country, not just your area. And they're not necessarily going to give preference to your area. And so you will get lost much more easily in the sea of options that these people have to choose from. It's going to be much harder to find your listing. And in that case, for something like that, it would be easier for local people to find your listing probably on Craigslist. I also still really suggest on Facebook doing the local groups like furniture selling or garage sale groups or furniture flipping groups. If you're in a group like that that's more of a local neighborhood group, then there's a better chance that they're going to see your item. But just as far as Facebook Marketplace, if it's something that they're encouraging you to offer shipping on, your item will probably just get buried if you don't offer shipping. And so it's not really a great idea for something you just want to turn over quickly in your own local area. All right, those are my little tips and tricks for starting smaller if you want to flip some things, or just if you sometimes don't have a big vehicle with you or you don't have help to move something, you still can find things that are pretty, that have value, that you can flip and make a decent profit on. And so I would love to hear in the comments if you have some pieces like that, or what you've done and what kinds of things you're interested in flipping if you haven't done it yet. So let me know, let's start a conversation. Also hit that subscribe button if you haven't done it yet so that you can see my next video that comes out. I'm going to be doing some more painting tips. I've got to do part 2 of my painting tips and hacks when you do want to refinish or repaint furniture to flip. Thanks for watching.